Hello everyone and welcome to this week's behind the scenes devlog video, and this week it hasn't really been the best start to the week so far. The tutorial at the weekend overran a bit, so I ended up finishing that on Tuesday, and then I had a day off on Wednesday because I hadn't really had a weekend. So getting started with work on Equilinox today, and this week I'm going to be finishing off a few loose ends, making a few new models, and hopefully making some progress on some of the species. So first up today, I've been doing some work on the beavers and their tree cutting ability, and I've been making the age of a tree affect how long it takes the beaver to cut down that tree. So for example, the young trees obviously get cut down pretty much straight away and don't produce so much wood, whereas the older trees take a lot longer to cut down and produce many more resources. Next up today, I've just been doing a bit of work in the code for the build component and the birds, making sure that they don't build their nests on the floor, and also making sure that they don't build their nests on top of other nests. And I've just been testing that out in the code, and it all seems to be working now. Next up today, continuing on with the build component stuff, I've been able to add the bees back into the game, because they've actually not been in the game for the last couple of updates. I had to remove them when I added the birds because of some issues between the build AIs clashing, but that's all now fixed, so I've added the bees back into the game, and they're now once again happily building their hives. Next up today, I thought I'd have another go at trying to make the model for the beaver dens, because as I mentioned when I made the last ones, I definitely wanted to have another go at them. So I did, and it turned out interestingly. I'm not sure if this is going to be the final model, because it still looks a bit strange, but not a bad attempt. To finish off the morning today, I've just been trying to fix an issue with the fish's AI, where the fish would just swim onto the land, which obviously they shouldn't be doing. So now, when the fish swim into water that's too shallow, they turn around and swim back into deeper water. Three o'clock now, and I finally got round to exporting all of these new herb models that I've been making over the last couple of weeks, and I've added them all into Equilinox now. So you can see some in the game here. This is an oregano plant. Down here there's some rosemary, and then over the mountain over here by the birds there's some wild mint and also some sage. Next up today, I thought I'd do some of the UI tasks that I have left to do, get some of them crossed off the to-do list. So I've been working on the credit screen here, getting that to scroll automatically, and it's scrolling a bit faster here just for the sake of the video. But you can see that that now scrolls automatically, and when it reaches the end, it starts from the top again. There is just one issue though with scaling. When I add more names, it doesn't work, so I'm just about to fix that now. It is 5 o'clock now, and I've just finished fixing the issue of the scaling for the credit screen, so I can now add as many names as I want, and it will automatically scale to fit that amount of names. So you can see that the credit screen is now fully working. So I thought I might as well create the other model stages for the beaver den, just so that I can actually add it into the game and see how it looks in the world. So as you can see, I've been doing that, but now I'm going to stop because this evening I'm going out for dinner with a few friends. Just finishing up the evening now, and as you can see I did add the new beaver den models into the game just to see how they look, and you can see that growing in size here as the beavers bring sticks to it and build it. It's probably not going to be the final model. I'm still not particularly happy with it. It just looks a bit weird, but I'm going to stop for now. I'm going to get an early night and I'll be back to work tomorrow morning. So first up today, I'm going to be working on the butterflies. I want to get this species finished today. So the first thing I've been doing is working on their movement and their AI. I've kind of redone their movement because previously it was a little bit violent. They were moving up and down very quickly and didn't look very graceful at all. So I've redone that, and I've also just given them a slightly better AI. Just been making a couple of little changes to the butterfly movement. So in the game, if I take control of one of these butterflies, you'll see that when the butterfly isn't moving, it floats down to the ground quite nicely in whatever position it was. So this made it possible for me to get butterflies to land on plants quite easily. So for example, this butterfly here is getting food, so it's going to land on one of these flowers, and you can see that, well, almost did miss the target slightly, but that's easily fixed. 11:30 now, and for the last hour or so I've just been doing a bit of UI work, and I've been redoing these page number buttons at the bottom of the shop because the previous ones looked a little bit out of place. They weren't very good, so I've just been redoing them, and as you can see, I'm pretty much finished. Just been doing a little bit of extra work on the page selection stuff in the shop, so you can see that I've now added these right and left arrows which you can click on to move through the pages, and this should just make it a bit easier to browse through the shop without having to move your mouse. You can of course still click on the page numbers to go to a specific page, but if you're just browsing, you can have a look through all the pages quite easily now. Next up this afternoon, I've been working on a new death animation for the fish. So when they die, they now turn over onto their back and float up to the surface, and when they reach the surface they just fade out. So you can see that happening in the game here. And next up today I'm going to have a go at creating one of the final trees that I need to make for Equilinox, which is a new tree for the swamp. So I had a go at creating a sort of willow tree for the swamp biome in Equilinox, and I've wanted to add a willow tree into Equilinox for quite a while, but I was never really sure how to do it in low poly. But I had an attempt at it, and it didn't turn out too badly. It took quite a while. I spent a long time trying to get these leaves looking like they're kind of hanging down, and I guess it kind of worked. It could definitely do with some improvements, but it's not too bad. Lastly, this afternoon I've just been working on tidying up some of the loose ends for the hunting system, because there are still just quite a few little fixes and improvements that I need to do. So for example, I've just been working on the equipping system. Firstly, I've been making sure that other foxes don't try and eat the meat when a fox is carrying it, and I've also just made sure that when a fox dies while carrying meat, or if you pick up a fox when it's carrying some meat, it now just drops that meat onto the floor instead of previously where the meat would just be left hanging in the air. So to finish off this lovely Friday evening, I've just been doing a bit of editing for this week's behind the scenes devlog video, and this week I've been trying something a bit different. I've been trying to do some editing every evening to edit all the stuff that I did during that day, so that hopefully at the weekend I won't have to spend a whole day editing because most of it will already be done. Good morning everyone, it is a beautiful sunny Saturday morning. I've just got back from my morning run, and it's going to be a bit of a busy morning today. I've got a few things to do. I need to do my weekly food shopping first, and then I'm going to meet my friends at their hotel for breakfast. But before I do that, I saw a nice tree when I was out running, and I want to have a go at making a low poly version of it. So I just finished the model for the new tree, and I tried to make it look like there were flowers hanging down from it, which I think just about worked. But now I'm going to do my weekly shopping, and then I'm going for breakfast. Back to work now, and I've been doing a bit more model making, and I was making the younger versions for the willow tree that I made yesterday, and I've just added them into the game, as you can see here. Next up today, I've been doing the models for the younger versions of this tree, and I just exported them and added them into Equilinox, and you can see some of them growing in the world here. So I've just been doing a little bit of work on some of the fish species this afternoon, just making sure that they're all now using the new AI so that they don't go swimming on the land, and I've also just been giving them all the new death animation, but I'm in a bit of a model making mood this afternoon, so I'm now going to have a go at making some new models for some small plants. So I had a go at making a few new plants. I tried out a few different techniques this time. This one didn't really work. I thought that maybe these triangles would look like flowers, but they just look a little bit spiky. But this one's okay. It's a bit high poly though. This one's pretty nice though. So I'll probably add these two into the game. I'm not sure about this one over here though. It is 4:30 now. I've just been making the models for the younger versions of this flower, and I've added some into the game here. So for the rest of the day today, I'm just going to be doing editing for this week's devlog video, because I've heard that it's going to be 30 degrees tomorrow, so I really don't want to be stuck inside all day just doing editing. So I'm going to get as much done as I can this evening, and then hopefully I'll be able to finish it off quickly tomorrow morning. So that is pretty much going to be it for this week. I'm just finishing off the editing for this video now, and then hopefully I'll be able to get outside and enjoy the sunshine later. But yeah, thank you guys very much for watching this video. Do subscribe if you haven't already. Have a fantastic week, and I will see you all next time.